good mother is one that deals with her kid in a very good light. A good mother is someone who's kind, generous, and basically the guiding force for their child. A lot of Degrassi mothers were considered for this case study. Hell, what about Spike? You know, she ended up being a teen mother. She had to deal with the problems that her boyfriend got her pregnant, and then the boyfriend's family basically will do anything in their power to make sure Spike doesn't have the kid, or if it's too late, basically get rid of Shane for their own benefit because they're ashamed of themselves. And basically, when Shane fell off the bridge, basically they put him in the mental institute and they have an out. But Spike also had to carry the fact that she didn't really have a lot of male influences to help her raise baby Emma and all that. But strangely, Snake helped her out a few times when Emma was 2. So Spike as a mother, I don't know. I just don't think she's that great. Although Emma doesn't really blow off steam at Spike as much as anyone else seems to be. What about Mrs. Pandari? Yeah, she was kind of a pain in the neck and basically didn't believe their kids and basically went with the double standard, but she changed. She grew. What about Claire's mom? No. Claire and Darcy's mom basically, I doubt it. They're not good moms. What about like Jimmy's mom? We don't see him. Spinner's mom? Well, okay. You get the picture. There's a lot of moms. Heck, even Maya's mom could have been part of the appreciation post that I'm doing. But unfortunately, Maya's mom just fell just short. There's one mother that a lot of people are talking about in the past few weeks on the Degrassi Reddit stuff. She may be a good mother, or she is probably a motherfucker. Sorry, but that's the way it goes. But this is the case study of one Audra Torres. Yes, Audra Torres. Mother to Adam and stepmother to Drew. Basically, she had to deal with 2 growing teenage boys, or in one case, a female to male transgender transitioning kid. Audra was first seen in season 10 when Drew is basically hazed by Riley and the football team and wants answers from Simpson. Basically, Riley steps up to the plate and takes full responsibility and gets himself into deep trouble, being kicked off the football team for a while. Basically, she was no nonsense and all that. She wanted to make people pay. And a lot of people blame Drew for getting his mom involved for him to win the quarterback spot, saying that basically Drew only won it because his mom's part of the PTA, which is false. And basically, they thought that Drew basically wanted to get rid of Riley because Riley was homosexual, which is false. Drew just wanted Riley to pay for his hazing. He didn't care about Riley's sexual orientation. Then speaking of sexual orientation, Audra had a tough time accepting Adam as a male. Audra always called Adam Gracie and as her daughter. I mean, mother-daughter relationships aside, it's got to be one of the best in the world. Like a mother-daughter relationship is better than a mother-son relationship 9 times out of 10 in a sense. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I can get why Audra didn't want Adam to be a male. But Gracie always thought that she could fit better with Drew and all that. So basically, yeah. You know, Audra did struggle with the fact that Adam wanted to be a male. I mean, the mother-daughter relationships and all that. But it could also be because Adam's grandmother or Audra's mother might have told Audra not to basically accept, well, you got to accept your daughter as your daughter and not someone who's trying to change their gender because it's wrong in a sense. Audra does make mistakes about calling Adam Gracie and all that, but she finally accepts Adam for who he is, and that is fantastic. She would also be prominent in season 10 during Vegas Night, the 2-parter that broke everything down. So anyway, as it turns out, Degrassi wants to have a prom and a dance called the Vegas Night. Audra's not too happy about it. And Audra also has a bone to pick with Simpson because of how Simpson is basically not being attentive enough with the Drew hazing and, you know, the kissing and all that. Basically, when Drew kisses Allie, Audra goes nuts. So basically, she tells Simpson that the school's going to go downhill and it'll be with a new person. So that practically means that Simpson has to keep things in order. Simpson decides that he needs to talk to Sav and Holly J, who are the leaders of the student council. He tells Sav and Holly J that practically Vegas Night cannot go off without a hitch. Basically, no hitch is allowed because of his job and all that. I mean, I don't know why they're threatening Simpson so fast in his tenure at Degrassi. So regardless of what ends up happening, basically Vegas Night was disastrous. I mean, Sav and Holly J were involved in the striptease. Drew and Allie were making out in the boiler room. There was some kind of shooting. There was some kind of shenanigans. Basically, Simpson was running a school that was not too pleasing to him. And basically, he knew that his job was on the line. So he decides to implement the uniforms and extracurriculars policy that basically made him look like a fool. I'll get more into that when I do my snake case study. So basically what ends up happening is that Audra basically shames Allie and calling her a slut and all that. Basically, Allie was just being, was an innocent girl. And Audra just didn't see that coming. So basically, yeah, she was protecting Drew. And a lot of people thought she was really overprotective of Drew. Well, I mean, she's protective of Adam for obvious reasons. I mean, Audra was not too pleased when she lost Adam to a texting driving accident. It was like the family got shattered and all that. Audra basically was not happy when Drew actually decided to drop out of school for a job. Drew wanted to break out of his mother's shadow, saying that his mom is basically trying to ruin his life and all that. And that's how it got started about Drew and Bianca. I mean, Audra had a bad feeling about Bianca. I mean, I get it. She's a mother and she's protective of her son. But she didn't think Drew and Bianca would work out. She kind of thought that Bianca was kind of a troublemaker and all that, and was basically pulling Drew into the web of deceit. Drew shouldn't be with a troublemaker like Bianca. And of course, you know, she was not happy when Drew actually protected Bianca from trouble, because remember, Bianca accidentally killed Anson with a rock. And basically, you know, Drew took the fall for Bianca, knowing that Bianca would probably not get treated well. Not just because she's a girl, but she has a criminal record, a police record, if you will. So basically, Drew takes the fall for Bianca, and Audra, I think, was not too happy about it. And of course, Bianca fell into Vince's shadow. Basically, Bianca had to do everything Vince says to do, or else Drew and his friends will get hurt. So basically, Bianca fails to get Vince. Vince basically wants to shoot Drew, saying that it's not over until Drew goes down. He shoots Adam. I don't know if he knew about Adam, but he shoots Adam and drops the gun and leaves. Bianca picks up the gun and wants to shoot Vince, basically trying to end it. Long story short, Adam's in the hospital. Drew blames himself. Audra basically says that Bianca's at fault, but Drew tells her off, saying that I'm so selfish and all that. This is not me and all that. So Drew says, this is my trouble, and I will do whatever it takes to fix this. And he also tells his mom that Bianca will need a lawyer because of Bianca telling everything about the police. And Audra does. Audra and Bianca actually are good. And Bianca basically says that Mrs. Torres is the mother that she needed. Tough but firm. Tough but fair. Of course, Drew and Bianca decide to go to Las Vegas to get married for some dumb reason. And basically, Mrs. Torres crashes it and basically says that she finally decides that Drew should be happy with Bianca. And of course, Drew and Bianca decide not to get married, and then they break up because Bianca wants to go to college. And of course, you got to be asking yourself, That did she do that on purpose? I think she probably psychologically got Drew because she figured that if she approved of it, Drew would basically throw it away, thinking that Drew is basically dating Bianca to get back at her. Who knows? So anyway, of course, she's part of the PTA. But in season 14, she basically would come into prominence. As we all know, in season 14, there was the incident of Degrassi nudes that forced Simpson out and put Pill in. So basically, in finally, the season 14 finale, she makes an impact. So anyway, it's not, a lot of things happen. But in finally, Drew ends up making a proposal for Becky. Becky rejects him. Unfortunately, Drew is not happy with himself. Drew tries his best to fix the situation, but Pill does not like it. And under the no affection policy, she basically boots him from prom. Basically, he's not allowed to go to prom. So Drew ends up staying home with his mom and all that. And then after Dallas tells Drew about the mistake he made in booking the prom boat on the wrong date, he booked it a year later than he should have. Audra decides to tell Drew to go help Dallas out with the prom. And says that, do you want your memory of prom night to be barbecuing with your mom? I think basically she's trying to get in Drew's head and all that. Psychological warfare and all that. So yeah. It's huge and all that. So basically Drew decides to help Dallas salvage prom. And unfortunately, well, breaks into the school and salvages it. But Pill basically tells Drew that he broke in to the school and all that, and said that, does Drew know if anyone else was conspiring? Drew refuses to name anybody. And Pill basically tells Drew, you are not going to be up on that stage. You'll get your diploma in the mail, but you will not walk up on the stage. And I have to make an example of future students who break the rules and all that. So yeah, this is kind of amazing and all that. What she did and all that. It's like, wow, she's terrible and all that. Now, of course, Drew sits with his mom at the ceremony. After all, he's not allowed to cross the stage. And they make a tribute to Adam, which was great and all that. So you got yourself to thinking that, Mrs. Torres might know something about it. She tells Drew, stage or no, you're perfect. You got back to school and you're graduating. That's all I can think of. So basically, she's happy with Drew's prom pictures and all that. But of course, her role in the PTA was big because she could have had a hand in deciding Pill's fate. Now, it was obvious that she knew that Pill might have overstepped her boundaries and all that. So basically, she wants Drew to help Dallas out, even though Drew was going to do the right thing and not piss off Pill any further. I think Audra knew. I think she knew. She obviously knew because, to bring Drew into this, it could have been psychological warfare. Basically, she's thinking that, she could psychologically get in Drew's head. So anyway, what I'm saying is that she might not be the big cheese at PTA, but she could have basically told the other trustees about Pill's policies and how she basically is trying to rule the school unfairly. I know Degrassi nudes brought Degrassi into a bad spiral, and Pill was brought in to try to calm the school down, but basically I think the students basically were going to rebel against her, and Pill was doing all she can. Basically, you play Pill's way or no way. So basically, I think Pill was basically gone. And I think that basically the PTA said that Simpson had no complete knowledge of Degrassi nudes, and he was allowed to come back the next year. So that's the end of that, of how to describe her. But there were two Reddit posts that were made a couple of weeks ago. One by Night Angel 58 said, I didn't think it was possible to hate peripheral character more than I do about this woman, obviously, Audra. She's nosy, a busybody, who sticks her nose in everyone else's business, passes judgment on others, knowing they won't retaliate. Tried to get the football team shut down because they hate Drew. And the last straw was basically calling Bianca a gold digger. There is a term for her. She's a Karen. And people said, well, Adam got thrown through a window. She was like, okay. And then Drew was hazed. She put the audacity to put him in a non-dangerous position without showering glass shards all over him. Somebody said she has more Karen moments than any mother, including Claire's. I know she was supposed to be a typical mother of a trans kid too, but she didn't shift her position to really allow Adam to actually transition. Basically, she accepts him, but doesn't want Adam to transition. She tries to discuss the matter, and Adam's gone. It was like amazing. All that. Yeah, of course, that's Drew's stepmother. Drew would have pulled that you're not my real mom situation, but no. Yeah. So basically, Audra and Drew's father was together since Adam and Drew were young. So it makes sense for him to respect her as his mother when she's the one taking care of both boys. Yeah, I know. So yeah, she was realistic. So yeah, people said that basically she wasn't that bad of a person. Okay, then the next post by Delightful Cheers said that so many Degrassi parents were negligent and uninvolved. But what about Audra Torres? She will take no one's BS. She gives a shit before it's too late, and she won't let anyone condescend to her, which is great and all that. Somebody said she was a bitch to Allie, who was just about raped in the boiler room. Basically, yeah, she passed judgment on Allie too quickly and was protecting Drew. Jeez. I mean, at first she was mean and controlling and was intense about the hazing, but she accepted Drew and Bianca's friendship, so she went uphill from there. And then I ended up getting -6 points, even though I said, well, they didn't get married. Why the fuck did I do that? Audra basically was upset about Drew being hanged by the flagpole. I mean, who wouldn't be upset by that? She actually was a great character. She was genuine in taking in Bianca, but was fed up with Drew's bullshit. She dealt with Drew being immature and impulsive, but did it in a way that was believable and not some stereotype. And basically, she warmed up and all that. She appeared in 34 episodes, by the way. And Audra did a lot for Bianca. Before Audra found out Bianca and Drew were engaged, she paid for Bianca's lawyer and gave her a check for college tuition. So basically, it was amazing. Audra is very logical and puts emotions to the side, someone said. People forget that Audra is a parent. So because she initially met Ali in a bad situation and part of the school board, she had a black and white view of teenagers. I can't fault her for getting upset with Ali because she didn't know Ali personally, and Drew hadn't stuck up for her when they kissed in front of his mom. She was rude to Bianca when she wasn't aware that Bianca Drew was engaged, but I don't understand. Yeah. Basically, she was given the information by Owen about Ali and all that. So yeah. This is amazing. So yeah, a lot of people. I thought this would have been much better for talking, but anyway, no, I guess not. So anyway, yeah, Audra was fine and all that. That was black and white and all that. It's like, well, is she good? Is she bad? I think she was bad, then transitioned into good. She had kind of a redemption arc in a sense. I mean, she does come off as being overprotective of Drew, but I mean, she is who she is. You are who you are. You can't change that. And Audra Torres was a decent character. I may not have liked her 10 out of 10, but I give her an 8 out of 10. She was fine. She had to do the PTA stuff, and the school board was the school board. I mean, she told Simpson basically, when we're mistaken, you're out the door. And Simpson decided to do this. A lot of people thought Simpson was stupid for doing these policies to save his own job. But, principles are principles. Whatever happens, happens. So anyway, thanks for watching this video and hope you learned something.